Mark Leishman got to experience a lifelong dream of his at the 2017 Arnold Palmer Invitational.
Leishman wins the Arnold Palmer Invitational.
When his wife Audrey, then pregnant with daughter Eva, and their two little boys Ollie and Harvey greeted him in victory.
You really appreciate every hug you get. You just appreciate them tiny moments more.
For the Leishman family, it was a long-awaited triumph they weren't sure they would ever see. It was the last week of March in 2015, and Mark was preparing for the Masters only weeks away. Audrey had been home feeling ill, believing she was coming down with the flu.
Mark was leaving the next morning to go to Augusta to play a practice round, and he asked me if I needed him to stay, but I told him I'd be fine.
The day Mark left for Augusta, Audrey's condition rapidly worsened. Suddenly, she was gasping for air.
It was the nightmare of my life, to feel like you were literally drowning in your own body. I remember being okay, and then I quickly remember not being able to breathe.
Audrey was rushed to the hospital, struggling to reach Mark 500 miles away.
I got back to the car and looked at my phone and, it wasn't good. Ended up getting home about 9 o'clock the next morning. That's when they were sending her straight to the ICU.
Diagnosed with toxic shock syndrome and subsequently acute respiratory distress syndrome and sepsis, Audrey's organs were failing.
Within 24 hours, she was put into a medically induced coma. Another 24 hours after that, we got told that she probably wasn't going to make it.
Doctors gave her only a 5% chance of survival and gave family members only moments to say goodbye before putting her on life support.
At that point, I knew there was a good chance that I might die and that I might not ever see my kids again.
You're at her bedside, and what are you thinking?
I remember there was a little corner around just outside of her door, and I'd go there and just cry, just hoping that, she'd be all right, because it didn't look like she was going to be. When she was going through all of that, I was thinking about how am I going to raise my boys by myself.
I love you, Mummy.
Mama. You'll be better.
For 3 days, Audrey's condition showed little signs of improving. Then, doctors got the good news they were searching for. Her lungs began to clear. She was going to survive, but Audrey's road to recovery would be long and difficult.
My family went through their nightmare when I was asleep, and my nightmare started when I woke up. I would start to feel better, and then I would get sick again, and it would remind me that I was not the same person that I was before in pretty much every aspect. I needed to find a purpose in why I got sick, and I needed to find a way to make it good.
1 year later, Audrey was feeling herself again. She and Mark decided to help other sepsis and toxic shock survivors by starting a foundation, appropriately called Begin Again.
We saw what it can do to you financially, and we really want to help people who are going through what Audrey went through and other things as well.
You can look at it as it was worth it as it relates to saving other lives.
I don't think I will ever be able to say that I'm happy that it happened, but I can say I don't regret it. Why did I survive when other people don't? And I don't think I'll ever be able to have an answer for that, but I do think I can do my best to honor those that didn't survive and weren't so lucky, and so I just keep trying to do that.